Welcome to Positive Philter with your host, Philip Wilkerson, a podcast that focuses on friends, family, health, and career, with a little self-help along the way. Please join me in this journey for self-improvement, and I hope what I have to share will make you a better person, thus making the world a better place. I hope you enjoy the show. I hope you enjoy the show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's Philip Wilkerson, host of Positive Philter, back with another episode of Positive Philter. I'm joined by a special guest. Everyone is a special guest to me. I'm joined by a good brother of the oldest and coldest fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the Mr., the myth, the legend, Mr. Brother Mike House. Now, as you know, sometimes I reach out and I get guests. We never actually met in person, but it doesn't, with this world of technology, I've met so many amazing people that inspire me in the digital space. And so I came across this good brother through a mutual friend of ours, Brother Luke Keys. And he was like, yo, there's a public speaker that I want to connect you with. He's got a dope platform. He's well-spoken, and he's killing the game in public speaking. I know that's something that you want to do, Philip. I want to connect you with Brother House. And I did. I just checked it out, his videos, went down the rabbit hole, and I became a stan off the break. And I listened to all his videos. So the episode is going to be entitled, I Am Mike House. That's his brand. That's how he markets himself. But for the listeners, can you give a little bit of a introduction to who you are?
Yes, sir. Thanks, Brother Wilkerson. I appreciate this opportunity to be on this platform with you. So I am Mike House, and as he mentioned, that is my brand, and it's near and dear to me for one reason only, and that's because there was a specific time in my life that I didn't really enjoy my name. I didn't like my name. I didn't. It was not something that I was proud of. So I am Mike House. It's very meaningful to me because I am are the two most powerful words in the human language. It means I will be what I will be, or I will become whatsoever I may become. So whatever you attach, associate, or link to the words I am, that's what you'll be. That's what you'll become. And a lot of times we attach negative things to those words. I am broke. I am miserable. I am ugly. It's all of those things, and that's what you will eventually become. And also, I am is the name of God.
Okay.
I am that I am. So when you say those things, you're not only disrespecting you, but you're disrespecting God as well. And so that's how I look at that. But, once I became aware of who I am, I fully embraced I am Mike House.
Sheesh. Hey, man, okay, I didn't think you was going to drop such a bomb on our intro. like talk about God and all this stuff. I mean, that's crazy. And I totally believe in that, the power of affirmations, the power of speaking to existence who you want to be. And so, I don't know, man, I was going to pivot, but did you, wow, I'm just kind of speechless right now. Did you, when you became in this vision of yourself, like I am, do you do that? Do you do like insert words like I am smart and then think of the characteristics of a smart person and then go backwards and try to live those things? Because I've started to do that with words of affirmation. I got a journal where part of that journal is speaking into existence and becoming your identities. So do you kind of practice that yourself?
Yes, sir. So that's all we do all day, every day is create. And we create with two resources that are often overlooked, the greatest resources that we've been given, and that is our mind and our speech. What we think and what we say are the causes of the conditions and circumstances that we face in life. So to answer your question, yes, I do that. I am successful. I am prosperous. I am perfect health. I am one with God. That's my daily affirmation multiple times a day. But check this out, Brother Wilkerson. My affirmation that I was saying for decades, and I'm talking decades, 2 at least, was I am mean, evil, and negative. I am mean, evil, and negative. And so that's what was transpiring in my life. That's what I was creating in my life. So I wholeheartedly believe that What we attach, again, to those two words is what we will become. So you are definitely on the right track, and keeping your journal and all of those things, because you know what? When you write something down, that is the first step in creating it. You are bringing it to life. Not only are you speaking it, but you're writing it. And that is the first step to creation, because you're kind of holding yourself accountable when you see it on that piece of paper.
Yeah, definitely. And so I'm kind of sparked. You were saying I'm bad, I'm evil, whatever. When you were saying that that's a subconscious thing, or like, yo, you're like, I'm always messing up. Like, how did that? What was that? Just through school and when you were in college? Like, because like I don't really. Now that I do work in positive affirmations and think about my thoughts to myself, I don't think I actually vocalized it as much. You know, like I don't be like, damn, I'm stupid. But I would see that negative narrative in my head. Did you actually vocalize like, yo, I'm evil, like, you know, out loud to, you know?
So there are two forms of speech. Remember, I said mind and speech are the two greatest resources that we've been given. There's verbal speech. Those are your declarations that you say. And then there's also self-talk. So what you're saying, what you say to yourself. And I believe wholeheartedly that the self-talk is more powerful than anything that you can say verbally, because you know what to say verbally. There's no way that I was going to walk around and say I am evil and negative, because they're going to take me away, right? Into somebody's institution.
Yeah.
So that was what I declared to myself from a subconscious standpoint, as you mentioned, for as long as I can remember, man. And I wasn't even aware of it. So when you mention subconscious, a lot of you're not aware of what you're doing subconsciously, because it's there. That's where your beliefs, your habits, your behaviors, and all of those things, that's where they live. And so, and this is one of my favorite quotes by a guy named Carl Jung, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. And so a lot of us, that's what we're doing day in and day out. And we're living these lives, and we're not fully satisfied. It's because we're not aware of what's driving our lives, which is what we think and what we say, mostly on a subconscious level.
So, you know, obviously this originating thought, you know, like, man, I'm gonna take back the power of my own name. What was the aha moment? When did you like say, you know what? I'm speaking to existence. I am Mike House, and this is flipping. I am going to start speaking to myself in a more positive light, and I'm gonna start taking claim of my name and taking claim of my identity. When did that start?
It was a journey. I can't say it was an aha, like, it was literally a journey. And Brother Wilkerson, I'm still on that journey. You know, this is ever evolving. So I was one that hated reading. I absolutely hated reading. You couldn't pay me to read a book, man, because I'm from 42nd and Post Road, aka Fodos in Indianapolis, and the hood. And we went to school because it was a requirement. It wasn't because it was a love for learning. It wasn't that. But I married an educator, and you are an educator, so you know that's it's a different world. So after 5 years of constant nagging about my lack of reading, I said, you know what? You're gonna stop getting on my nerves. I'm gonna pick up a book and read. So that was when the journey of growth and development began. And I picked up a book called The Wealth Choice by Dr. Dennis Kimbro. And in The Wealth Choice by Dr. Kimbro, he discusses ordinary African Americans that became millionaires by using their minds. They were just everyday people, but they had decided, you know what? I'm better than this. You know, I can do something with these ideas that I have. And so that's when my journey kicked off in the fall of 2013. So I just continued to read. And then I started to listen to speakers such as Les Brown and Wayne Dyer, Jim Rohn, Earl Nightingale, and the list goes on. And what that was doing, once I started to read and listen to these speakers, it was disrupting the negative belief system that I had been carrying all of my life. And so, again, it was a journey. And then I just realized, man, you know what? I am great.
Yay! I love
You
it.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't pinpoint the day and time that I
Yeah.
just made a decision. But after a few years of studying it and understanding the subconscious and beliefs and behaviors, and I just said, you know what, I'm going to embrace my name, what I disliked for so many years, and I'm going to brand it.
There you go. I love it. I love it. And the thing is, the two things I heard, and this is kind of like pulling back. I'm an educator too, but I ain't gonna lie. I hate reading too. Like traditional reading. So I know my learning style. I love consuming information. I think that, I am gonna be, if, we gotta go into comments and people try to come at my neck. I believe that listening to audiobooks is reading to me. You know what I'm saying? So I found my learning style, and I definitely appreciate the knowledge of books. I think books are great, but then at the same time, me sitting down and consuming a book with my eyes is not my learning style, but I love reading books. So I would say, if we could go and argue that reading is reading a book, but I definitely agree with you. And the other thing is, I agree with where you kind of pinpoint is that it's almost like a diet, a mental diet. And what am I ingesting? And so I'm on the same plane as you. Like, if I'm only ingesting trash and it tells me I'm trash and then I live it, I'm gonna become trash. But like, that's why I connected with you. I know all the speakers, Les Brown, all these people. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to consume, like, my diet, my mental diet is going to be like things like that. And I'm going to keep on feeding that into my brain. And it's almost like, almost like naturally I started saying, yo, I could do this, or I feel pretty good about myself, or, it just like a mental switch. So I think I'm on the same plane as you. Like, I can't pinpoint when I start walking a little bit more in confidence, but I do know that I try to purposefully consume consume information and positive things rather than in trash all the time. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I do consume some ratchet rap, you know what I'm saying? Some trap music. You gotta have some junk food in there every now and then, you know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta turn up, but I will try to say that if I'm gonna consume something, what I watch on TV, what I like really look at, I try to look at things that will improve my awareness, like documentaries or books or positive information. Because that diet is going to switch and make me. It's like literally it's just like you eat. You gotta feed your brain positive stuff too, and helpful stuff. When did you say, "Yo, I am Mike House. I'm a brand. I got this knowledge. Let me verbalize it to other people and share this information"? When did that happen?
Again, I have to get a credit to my wife, man. You're a married man, so
Yeah.
Hey, she's everything. But 2 years ago, she said, you know what? You have all of this knowledge. You have all of these things that you're learning from your own self-investment. You need to start sharing it. So I'm going to challenge you to get on social media and start sharing this information. And of course, my limiting beliefs, I said, no, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
Who wants to listen to me? There's no way that I want to do that. But within 24 hours, she was holding up my iPhone 6, bro.
Yes. Yes.
And filming me, recording me, doing what I call Mike House Speaks.
Yes.
So within a short amount of time, I had basically stepped on my own belief and said, you know what, I'm going to step out here and do this. And I've been doing Mike House Speaks for 2 years consistently, every Monday since that challenge.
So with that challenge, okay, so now we got social media realm, and we all know that we all got a platform on social media, and I love it. I do that stuff too. But when did you want to take it to the next level and say, I need to get in front of a real live person-to-person audience and take this message from, my Monday Speaks to, like, I legit want to get in front of a real audience and real people. And because I believe, that is a next level of challenging yourself. Like, I become more comfortable, public speaking through a microphone in my podcast, but it's a different game when you see the audience, you're in the face of the audience. And I believe I started my podcast before I tried to get in front of a real audience. And I felt like this was a way for me to practice, but it's a different, it's game time. It's like a different feeling in front of a real audience. When did you take it to that level?
Yeah, so even before I got on the social media platform, I had that desire to be a public speaker. And I was doing some speaking before that, because as you mentioned, it's a totally different ball game when you're in front of an audience, when you're in front of a crowd, man. I mean, it's something that just energizes you. I'm an introvert at heart, man. I don't do a lot of socializing and things like that. But when I'm on stage, bruh, I mean, I just totally turn into a different person. And so, I had always had that. I had that desire a year or so before I started doing the social media platform, but that just made me a bit more comfortable when I'm on stage, actually doing this on a consistent basis every Monday, and also it gives me more content as well, because you have to stay fresh. So
yeah. Do you, like, before you go on the public or you go on the stage, do you have to hype yourself up and get charged up and go back to your affirmations about yourself? And like I ain't gonna lie, like anytime I was doing things in front of people, like whether back in the day I used to power lift and get on stage, I would have to like legit like zone out and like go into like a different mode. Do you do that before you go on stage to talk?
no, not necessarily, but I will tell you that I am nervous.
Yeah.
I am nervous, but you know what? Once I get started, it's on and popping. I mean, it's all good at that point. But yeah, I may say a prayer, just God help me, but I don't get into that zone. I hear some people do that, and I am great. I can do all that.
I do that.
I'm too nervous at that point, man.
Okay. Help. I must be a crazy person, because every time I was at a job interview or anything, I go in the bathroom, and if someone's like, pooping or whatever, they probably hear this crazy man come in there because I'm not even using the bathroom. I'm like, I got this. Come on, let's get hype. Like football. And then I walk out. So if someone was in the bathroom while I'm doing this, they'd probably say, yo, this dude just walked in the bathroom and yelled in the mirror and then changed his face. But I had to do that for me. Like, I'm an extrovert. So I know extroverts like out loud. It's extra, like outside of yourself. So I had to get myself in a mode. So I do that for myself. So like, we've talked on the phone. You gave me some great advice. What are, some tips for the aspiring public speaker that you can share? Let's go, like, when I say some tips, the aspiring speaker, let's not talk about someone that's already talking. I'm talking about legit ground zero. I think I do it. I think I want to do it. What can I do to get started? What can I do today? Like the little, like, one activity, or what, like you were talking to someone that's on ground zero that has not done anything in regards to public speaking. What's some tips you can give that person?
Number one, grow where you're planted. So wherever you are right now, whether you've talked to 2 people, 3 people, 300 people, where you are right now. And what we all can do right now is pick up a phone, get on Facebook Live. We can record ourselves speaking, and do it that way. That's the easiest, most simplified way that we can actually start speaking. Now, if you are fearful in regards to putting yourself out there for the world to see, but I would encourage you to at least pick up your phone and start recording yourself. Start recording yourself to see how you sound, to see how comfortable you are when you are being recorded. Just the fact that you're being recorded, it makes a complete difference when you're recording yourself versus just speaking just in general. It's a completely different thing. When my weekly Mike House Speaks, when I hit record, I feel different from when I just practice before I hit record. I think that's the first step that you can take, is actually start recording yourself, start looking at yourself, start listening to yourself. If you're not comfortable with doing something on social media, that would be the first step that I would take. But even backing up, definitely you have to know what you want to talk about. Maybe I jumped the gun there, but you have to know what you want to talk about. Because you just can't go out there and start generalizing things. So since we're in this movement right now, if you want to talk about Black Lives Matter,
Mm-hmm.
let that be your message.
Mm-hmm.
Let that be your message. Don't talk about Black Lives Matter and then you go into a
Mm-hmm.
completely different realm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Focus on that one thing that you are going to really, really harp on. So for me, that's really mindset. At the end of the day, it's mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And so once you have that that niche that you want to focus on, then that's when you can make it a study. And by making it a study, that means you go deep into it. That means that you actually start investing some time in learning about it, because no one is a subject matter expert completely. We're all on this journey together learning. So once you find that thing that sparks your interest and that you are most confident in, make it a study, and then you can develop content, and then you may want to start recording yourself. So.
Gotcha. I love that. So maybe before you even hit record, have a subject, a niche, and then kind of do some research. With that being said, what are the ways that you come up with content and topics for yourself? Do you just like pregame and read a bunch of articles before the Monday? How do you like make sure that you're just something new? Like, do you have I know you have a record day. Do you have a study day, like a day where I just study and write my outlines and stuff to prepare yourself for the upcoming content that you're about to make?
It's inspiration.
Okay.
Inspiration, man. Inspiration in spirit. It's literally, I mean, I don't want to get too spiritual or too deep on it.
Oh, you can. You know, hey, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying?
But that's literally what it is, man. I literally don't be knowing what I'm going to talk about until like Saturday or something.
Okay, yeah. That's real.
It's gotten to that point now. When I first started out the first year or so, it was stress. What am I going to say? What am I going to say? What am I going to say? But now, man, I can just sit down and I think about it for probably an hour, and then I develop the content. And developing the content, that can take me 2-3 hours, man. It's not like I just do this. That's the thing. Let me take this.
Yeah, I love it, because I think that the preparation part is very key. Like, you're not just doing this, man. You're preparing. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, and that's where I was going. Thank you. It's not like I'm just getting out there and just speaking off the cuff. No. This stuff takes preparation, man. It takes energy. It has to be something that you really want to do. It has to be something that you are inspired by. So I just mentioned the whole movement that we're in right now with the Black Lives Matter and everything. So that inspired me. And so now I'm starting to talk. I started to talk about, what my sons. I have an 8-year-old and a 1-year-old, and again, it's really going back to mindset. I tie it all back to mindset, because if people's minds and their hearts don't change, nothing is going to change. We're going to be in the same boat. So it's all going back to my root topic, which is mindset.
I was about to say that. So you have a core topic, and then from that core, you can make it applicable and timeless as things come up. But at the core, yours is mindset. I would say mine at the core is well-being. That's why it's called Positive Philter, well-being, positivity. So I know the core, but I can flip in. We can talk about multiple different things, but at the core of it, if you listen to my show, I'm not going to end on some Debbie Downer note and say, what was hopeless. I want to infuse hope and well-being. So yeah, I do agree with that, but I definitely am working on similar that I am a kind of a spontaneous guy. I don't know. I do my Myers-Briggs. I'm more of a P. I just kind of shoot at the hip. But I've noticed that in regards to me to make it a better platform and tighter title, I definitely have to be a little bit more preparatory. That's the word, preparatory, whatever. But the point is, I had to take some of that time. So that's very helpful for me to hear that, like, at least sometime before you hit record, have some preparation, have some come back to it, either whether you're inspired, but come back to that. I love it. When you were first, I'm very curious, when you started doing your speaking on digital, platforms, can you take me through a story where someone like surprised you and you didn't even know they were listening? And they say, yo, man, I checked out your thing. And that just kind of gave you fuel. Like, I love hearing those stories.
Yeah. I can't pinpoint that specific moment, but what brings me the most joy, Brother Wilkerson, is when someone shares my content. I mean, that just does it all for me, man. Like if not comments, not likes, but if you share.
Yeah.
So, because that lets me know that not only did it touch them, but they're saying, you know what? I want this to hit my network. I want this to hit my connections. And so once I start getting those shares, that's what really, really, really did it for me. And that didn't come immediately.
Yeah, it doesn't.
That didn't happen immediately.
Yes.
That took some build up. Just like you have your platform here, it took some build up for you know for you to develop an audience. So that's once I got that share, which was a few months in. That's when I said, okay, you know, I can do this. I'm helping somebody. Because if we go off of likes alone, everybody's not going to like, man. Everybody's not going to comment.
Yes.
We want that, but they don't for whatever reason. So, again, that share is what really gave me the confidence to say, hey, you know what, you're doing the right thing.
Well, I totally agree with that because, you know, as I study social media, you know, obviously there's like this silent thing, reach, right? Like, you know, people are scrolling, they see it, but there's reach and there's engagement. And those are two different things, right? And I think the additional layer of engagement is that last one too. Like when someone scrolls and they mindlessly like or whatever, it's like, okay, whatever. And you living for likes. But the fact that someone shared it with their network, it's almost saying, my name is Philip. You know who I am. I am vouching for this. And I want to share this person with the world, as in they meet, you know, they kind of match my ideals or my values. And so that's a big stand. Like, so, you know, when people, so like, I really take particular notice of what people share, you know, if when someone's like, yo, they're sharing, you know, and I'm trying to be apolitical, but you know what I'm saying? When they share certain political stances, I take it to heart that is something they're aligning with their values, because they're not just scrolling and looking at this, they're sharing articles and videos that align with what they say. And so that is something I'm going to be more mindful of too, is like for my platform as well as, you know, comments and likes, that's okay. But who is aligning themselves or saying what I speak about, especially me, what I speak about aligns with their values. And that's, I do agree. That is a little bit more valuable for me to know feedback wise, and also just know who's rocking with my platform.
Yeah.
So, maybe give me an obstacle. What was one obstacle like when you were starting out, man? Like it is that one moment, like I got to push through, like, you know, maybe 6 months in, you weren't feeling it or whatever. And you had to use that grit, you know what I'm saying? To like some resiliency. Where did you have a point like that too? Like, man, I'm gonna stop doing this on Mondays, man. This ain't doing it for me. Or you always like, once you started, you was rolling.
Hey, we go back to self-talk, dude. Yeah. Now that self-talk will kick in and be like, nobody listening to you. just stop, man. Just stop what you're doing. So yeah, I'll get that. That will come, and it's come more than once, twice, 3, 4 times. It comes.
Yeah.
But you have to silence that voice.
Yes.
You have the voice of faith and you have the voice of defeat. And the voice of defeat oftentimes wins out. But no, once you're on this journey, you have to stick to it. You have to go beyond the belief that, you know what, nobody's listening to you. You're wasting your time. And so it comes, man. It definitely comes, especially when you're speaking on things that are positive, like you are doing, and you have something that comes across you and you don't feel like being positive.
Yeah, man. I ain't gonna lie. This time you spoke it into existence, man. Someone said this, John, 2020, man, it's rocking my boat. And I even had to go into a shell of myself and say, yo, this show, like, do I really want to be positive? I ain't gonna lie, like, this show, am I being phony? Am I being, you know, whatever? But I think what happened, and this is similar to speaking into existence, is that while this is my focus, this is my thing, I can be positive without disregarding systemic racism and all the things going on. Like, I got to drive, I got to push through, I got to really find purpose on it. Like, this is the way I combat this is with my platform. Like, I really got to really think about it. Like, this is what I'm doing. This is my contribution to it. But man, it was getting hard. I was like, man, there's no trash. I ain't doing this Positive Filter right now.
Yeah.
But I definitely believe that the fuel I got, sometimes you have to have that intrinsic fuel, because if I was really waiting for other people to externally give me that fuel, it's not always going to come. You're going to have to have that. You have to have that intrinsic motivation, that intrinsic drive. And sometimes I had to talk to myself like I'm my own coach, and like really hype myself up. And there's days where I'm really doing it. I'm hitting on all cylinders. But there's some days I had to be totally transparent where I'm like, I'm really defeated and really sad. But it's back and forth, and I had to create that narrative for myself, that voice for myself. And I'm trying to. But I think one of the things I really did help me is practicing talking to myself positively over time, that my brain automatically starts to combat that. Because it's a habitual thing now. Like my mind starts to check myself all the time. Like, boom, I check myself.
Yeah, so now you're talking my lane now, man. You're talking my lane now because now you're aware of it.
Yeah,
you're aware of it. So once you become aware of it, it's not as difficult or challenging to shut it up or to challenge it, man.
Yeah.
Because at first, that was just, it was a part of your habitual behaviors. But now no. You're not gonna win this time. And then you shut it up. And then you shut it down. So it's all about awareness, man. And everything that we need, we have within us. So you mentioned that you're your own coach. Yeah, you're your own coach. It all starts with what you believe and what you think and what you say to yourself. And so, and we can acknowledge that, hey, things aren't that great right now, whatever it may be. But then you also have to go back to purpose. Everything that we do should be on purpose. So no, everything's not well, but you know what? I'm positive, and I'm going to speak the truth and what's going on, but also I'm going to have hope as well for the future, because I know my children are going to have a brighter future. Whatever that may be. Yeah.
But, well, you're saying it too. I say those things. I literally say that line for line. like I say my children. I use my kids all the time. That's definitely my hope. My hope is, So yeah, man. Like, I don't know, man. Those are the legit words I say. Like, I ain't doing this all the time. Like, I'm doing it for my kids, or I'm doing it for my wife, or I'm doing it for, my neos, my young boys, you know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely, I'm doing it for them, and I have to visualize it. And then I'm like, okay, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? And so I said this earlier too, right? Like, give yourself grace, as in, definitely you have bad days and not good days, but at the same time, it's like, man, you really got to challenge yourself. And as I think one of the things that has been beneficial for me, as over time, my positive voice is stronger than my negative voice. Now the negative voice is still there, but that Jones, my positive voice flexes on my negative voice a little bit bigger now. Like, it speaks up more. Like, it could say like, man, you funny looking. Well, guess what? I don't care. I'm funny looking. You know what I'm saying? I'm goofy as hell. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. I walk in confidence. I know who I am. I kind of embrace it sometimes. I sometimes make fun of myself. It's like, you got to take power of yourself. And I love that you've done that too. That's why I love this. That's why I want to call this episode that, because it's like, I didn't really think about how powerful just saying I am and then insert whatever. Like, you walk into a room, you say, I'm Philip Wilkerson. Like, I'm here. It's almost like I'm here. I'm gonna start doing that, John, when I'm here. Like, when I walk into a physical room, I'm like, hi everybody, I'm Philip Wilkerson. Nice to meet you. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah. Well, we gotta jump into a segment, because I don't know, man, you might hit me with a deep question. So we're gonna jump into the segment I call Shot for Shot. Now, Shot for Shot, no, we're not drinking no liquor right now, but maybe we'll have a virtual happy hour later. Who knows? But you get to ask me any question you want as related or not related to this topic, and I get to ask you any related question that you want. Do you want to go first? I go first.
What's your purpose?
Oh, snap, my purpose. Oh, so I actually did write that down. And so my purpose is almost like I have, I was telling people like the same thing about a brand, is I have a self-slogan, right? Like a slogan that I say to myself. And that's what I draw back to myself. And I kind of reflect and see, do I do this in some form or fashion, big or small, right? And so I think in regards to my purpose is I am a servant of others. I'm a servant of humanity. I want to help people. And when I go or die or whatever, I left this world a better place because I was in it. And so that is kind of like my slogan and my purpose. And so I kind of draw to it. So it could be big and small, right? Like, like if I help someone pick up their groceries, I kind of help someone. That's a small way. But then if I help someone with their resume and they got their first job, that's a small way. If I talk to someone in the audience and they went home that day and they took what I said and applied it, that's a small way. So I kind of draw myself to that all the time. It's more like I like to help people. I feel altruistic. I feel purpose. I feel useful when I felt like I helped someone. And what I've learned over time, even with that slogan about helping others, is that I might not see it. And that's the hardest part for me, is like, I might not see the fruits of my help. I mean, it might not even be around. Like I might die and no one even knows until like 5 years later, they're like, yo, man, Philip Wilkerson helped me. So I got to really draw upon the same thing, going back to that intrinsic motivation as like, I believe I'm helping someone or helping this invisible audience or helping this person I'll probably never meet, never see, never interact with, but I'm helping someone out there with what I'm doing. And so that's my slogan. That's my purpose. And I try to live in that every day somehow, big or small.
Good stuff. Good
and,
stuff. So
like, that's it,
That makes me think of Rick Warren's classic book, Purpose Driven Life. He says the very first words, the opening, is not about you. It's not about you. So your purpose really it really triggered that thought. So good stuff, man. Happy for you.
Well, yeah. And it's also, like I said, it can, when I boil it down to it, living a life of service, it gives me like, it can influence my marriage. It can influence, like, I'm serving my wife and helping her, making her life better. Hopefully, she's like, man, this dude is not a drain on me. He's an improvement on me. He adds value to my life. I use that sense of helping others with my friendships. Like, man, Philip's a friend that actually helps me, gives me something rather than takes all the time. And then it helps me with my job. Like, I feel more productive. Like, even when I'm like answering emails I don't want to answer, I'm like, man, this email sucks. Like, what am I even answering this for? But then I was like, in the back end, the reason why I'm doing this because this and this, and at the end of the day, it's going to help the students. I'm like, okay, I can motivate myself to do that. So I'm really working on it. There's some days where I'm like, I don't, certain like little tasks, I don't find any purpose in it. And I got to kind of force myself to see a bigger picture in it. But some things I definitely find it. So, man, you came off the jump. I should have knew this was going to be a deep episode off the break, man. Got me in my mind right now. So I'm going to have to hit you with a lighthearted one, man. So you say you're from Indiana, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just going to make the assumption that you are a Pacers fan.
Back in the day.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that's interesting. Okay. So let's speak upon it. So, okay. So I was talking to my mans, and he's a big Pacers fan, and he loved the 30 for 30 on Reggie Miller,
Yeah.
And, so it's a 2-part question. Do you think there was anything that the Pacers could have done to actually be NBA champions? And if you could, go back in a time machine, what would you change to make them a championship team? And 2, you said I used to be. Did you jump off the Pacers and on a new team? And who's that new team? So that's a 2-part question right there.
Yeah. So Reggie needed a Scottie Pippen.
Okay.
That's it. He needed somebody that was strong and would be able to finish the work, because he couldn't do it by himself. I mean, he had some good players. He had Mark Jackson. He had Rick Smits. He had Dale Davis. They had a good squad. I mean, they had a good run for several years, man.
Mm-hmm.
This place was crazy. I live in Cincinnati now, but I'm from Indy, so it was just crazy during the 90s, man. So, yeah, he definitely needed help. He couldn't do it alone, man. And I love that 30 for 32, by the way, especially Spike Lee's piece.
Yeah, the choke jump, yes.
Yeah. He said I was going to Indiana, the home of the Klan.
Yes, yeah.
This is true.
Yes.
But for today, man, NBA, man, I don't want to be too judgmental. It's just a different era, man. It's so different, man. It's not as exciting as it was, man, because everybody's jumping from team to team and trying to win championships. So I really just kind of in the early 2000s, I kind of tuned out of the NBA, truthfully. So I'm not really riding for anybody at this point.
There you go. Okay. I mean, they call me well, I'm a DC. I'm a military brat, but most of my experience has been in the DMV. So unfortunately, I'm stuck with all these DMV teams that are trash. I wish I could jump off the bandwagon, but, I'm stuck with them. We got some recent championships. Shout out to the Nationals, you know what I'm saying? And but I've had many in the Capitals. Shout out to them. But, yeah, I mean, I definitely think the landscape of sports. I was telling someone the other day with how the infusion of sports and just convoluted it is and not support, I am not a diehard sports person anyway no more. I mean, I'm definitely going to tune in and watch when I feel like it. But the way, like I said, I told you earlier, what I want to consume with my time and my mental, my mental is like, I'm at the point with all sports that like, if it's on TV or in the background, it's cool. But I don't definitely need to like stop everything I'm doing and watch a game anymore. I'm almost at that point where I'm like, I don't need to sit down in front of a TV and watch a full, Redskins game anymore. I'm almost just like, if it's at a friend's house or I catch a couple highlights, that's cool. But just like the way I want to spend my time and my energy and my mental, I don't know. It's almost like I'm losing that. Like I don't really care about sports that much. If that makes sense.
No, it makes complete sense. And I will say this, it's because your level of awareness has increased, man. That doesn't everybody's tripping right now because of the shutdown, because of COVID and everything, man. And like, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And now you're figuring out what really matters in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
But now you've moved on. You're starting to value time with family and friends and things of that nature. So I'm right there with you, bro.
So this is a great episode. I really enjoyed this. And so, I definitely, we're going to link up. I'm going to keep you posted. You might see me on a stage someday. I got my goal to one day speak in front of graduation. I don't know, who knows? But enough about me. I want this to be your stage. So we're at the part of the show we call shout outs and plugs. So go ahead and feel free to shout out anyone that you want to shout out, show love to anyone, everyone, whatever. And then plugs. I want you to directly tell the listeners where they can follow up with you particularly, where they can connect with you, and also things that maybe you're working on so that they, can keep up with your progress. So my mouth is shut. It's all yours. Shout outs and plugs.
Yeah. So from a shout out, man, I'd like to shout out to you, sir. I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to speak, man, because my purpose is to help others reach their full potential by using my God-given gifts and talents. So just allowing me this time to share with your audience my experiences, because what I've learned is if I can change, anybody can change. And I mean anybody. So from a shout out perspective, definitely big ups, Philip Wilkerson, my guy. Follow me on all of the social media platforms, Mike House, Facebook, Mike House, LinkedIn, Mike House 35 on Instagram. And then my website, IamMikeHouse.com. So yeah, and I'm on the grind just like everybody else. Whatever opportunities come my way, these podcasts, I have a couple podcasts coming up, have a big engagement that I'm working on. It hasn't been confirmed yet. So I'm just going, I'm taking this day by day, step by step. Again, this is a journey. We're all on this journey called life, and we're just trying to fulfill our purpose to add value to ourselves and to other people, most importantly.
Well, thank you so much. And listeners, do not hesitate. I have all the follow-ups in the show notes. Please connect with this good brother. An infusion of just mindset and wellness and well-being. I mean, he gave me a jolt. I'm feeling fired up to do something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'll figure out something, but he got me fired up to do something. And so please connect with him on all his socials. Take a look and listen to all the videos he does. I listen to him on YouTube. It's just quick. The Monday videos are just quick little jolts of the energy that you need. Definitely consume his content because, like I said earlier, this is kind of positive. This is mindset diet that just eat that up. Yum 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 yum. I feel like saying that. So definitely do that. If you really enjoy this episode, please share it with your family and friends. Please like Positive Philter. Filter is spelled with a PH. Please call the hotline 571-336-6560. That's 571-336-6560. You can leave a voicemail. Sometimes I put it on there. And this has been a great episode. Thank you. Please connect with him, and we're out. Thank you for listening to Positive Philter, a podcast that focuses on family, friends, career, with a little self-help along the way. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your family and friends, and like the Facebook page, Spreading Positivity of Movement. Thanks for listening.